Oh, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Already getting started on the second gen. Man, this thing has an oil leak from every crevice, seal, gasket that you could possibly imagine, like every other 96 Dodge that has been neglected for the past 20 years of its life. But we're not really worried about that because we're bringing it back to life. And we've already kind of got to work doing the unfun stuff that I wasn't going to show you guys. But now that we have the whole front clip off, you've seen it, we'll hop right into exactly what we're gonna do, and we'll hop into little tips and tricks too on some stuff that we learned along the way. So let me show you guys what our big projects are with this. It's gonna be a couple days and we're actually still waiting on some parts to arrive, but that's okay. Let me jump right into it. Let me show you guys what we're getting into. All right, so we have the entire front clip off, took the intercooler off, took the bumper off, took the top support off, radiator out, overflow, unbolted the intercooler. Let's see. Bumper and fans. Yep, bumper fans. The fans reverse threaded, and actually there's a guy online that showed you how to, if you actually wrap a ratchet strap around that and get somebody to hold the belt pretty tight. This is reverse threaded, so it's gonna spin if you try to loosen it unless you actually get enough tension on it. So if you put a ratchet strap around that and wrap it around the sway bar and then get somebody to grab the belt over here, you can actually spin that off with a pair of pliers. It's actually a pretty cool trick because they make a tool for like reverse threaded bolts and stuff. But anyway, let me hop in here and show you guys why we're taking the front seal off. So ordered a brand new oil feed neck. You can see there's a pile built up there. You can see inside of here, there's a pile of buildup. That was from the valve covers that we replaced. Probably while we're in here, we're probably gonna pull the hoses, get as much cleaned up as we possibly can. You guys can see all the buildup, and it only gets worse the further you go down. So look at the alternator all caked up in oil. I mean, you can see, this is an old diesel, but we're bringing this thing back to life 100%. I almost fell right there, that would've been great. So anyway, front seal, washed. It's completely beat. So the whole point of this part of the video is we're gonna rip the whole front seal off right here. Gonna replace everything, water pump, the gaskets, front main seal, big gasket seal, got it from Power Driven Diesel on the outside. Gonna clean this surface up, gonna clean everything up here as much as possible, including accessories on this side, alternator tensioner, and, idler, and AC compressor. Hopefully this works because this is another huge goal that we're gonna try to get. But anyway, in another video, you can see how bad that oil pan is. And that's not just on the front. That oil pan is literally like that from completely around the vehicle. So guys, we gotta get this cleaned up. We gotta get everything replaced. This is a really good truck and we're gonna bring it back to life. So put you guys on time lapse and we're gonna keep working. All right, guys, so got pretty much the whole front assembly off. The main reason we're doing this is obviously I told you guys about the oil leaks, but also, you know, the famous killer dowel pin. We got that kit from Power Driven Diesel. It's an entire kit, comes with gaskets, killer dowel pin, comes with a hole to actually keep the dowel in so that it doesn't explode the case, which when we get this whole assembly off, I will show you guys where that pin is. So that's probably what I'll label this video as anyway, probably if you're gonna do the killer dowel pin on a Cummins, because this is probably, I don't know, probably get the most views, I guess, because that's all everybody cares about, the dowel pin falling out. But let me walk through getting the whole front assembly off. Up top, 16mm bolt that holds this neck on. You unthread the neck from there, and then literally this just spins out. Got a brand new one of them going back on. Let me see here. What am I missing? What is that? That's just like an idler, essentially. Yeah, it really is just an idler. Rest in the middle. There are 4 bolts. 15s? Are they 15s or what?
They're 10s.
10s? 10 millimeters. And the only one that's different, and I might use this video for reference for myself, is this one. This is a longer bolt, but on the actual idler itself, it has an indentation, so you'll know that it's longer.
This bolts to it.
Yeah, that bolts right in there.
And then this goes here.
That'll rest there on top of the crank pulley, which, what bolts are the crank pulley? What size were they? Can't remember. Like 15s? 15 millimeters. Got that out. And then that exposes the case, which the case is either going to be 10 or 12s. And if you guys are wondering, there are some different sizes. For the most part, these are all the same size bolts, but you got a longer, you got two longer studs right here on the lower side, which is closer here. And then right there is another bolt. It's a different size. So the rest of these appear to be the same size as far as length or anything goes like that. So we'll get this off, put you on time lapse, and keep going. All right, guys, so this was the main point of this video, basically where we are. And once we get all this stuff cleaned up, get a new water pump on, get the front bottom of the block there cleaned up a little bit better too, we'll actually be ready to reassemble with new stuff. So you have to do all this work. You don't have to take the front end off, but we have a lot more work to do than just that, but we're making a video on this. So that's why we personally took the whole front end off. And honestly, it's probably easier. I think so. We probably have like 30 minutes maybe in the whole thing and taking the whole front clip off. But let me show you the killer dowel pin. If you're wondering what the killer dowel pin is that everybody talks about in Cummins, see that? It's right here. This dial. It's a little dowel pin. And when this comes out, two things can happen. It can either fall straight down, which is fine, and that would be in a perfect case. But if this falls out and hit this gear, then blows through the side of your case, that's a whole nother problem. Messes gears up, timing, etc., etc. So what the kit that we have is actually going to bolt, and it's actually going to hold this dowel pin in through a bolt. Like, it'll attach to this, and it'll be a piece of metal, and it'll actually hold that dowel pin in. And I think we're actually getting it out right now. So
you get two depending on which case that you have, which style of case you have.
And this comes in Power Driven Diesel's kit. We're not going to use this dowel pin because our pin is all the way in, but we are going to have to use one of these. And the point of them is, it's probably going to be this one. The point of it is just to show you guys. Bolt it in right there, and it's going to hold that dowel pin in so that it can never back itself out through vibration. So if you're wondering what a killer dowel pin is, that's what it does. It'll come out, destroy your case. Sometimes it might fall down to the oil pan, but not always. So this is going to bolt right in there, hold it in. Going to clean this up, fix the oil leaks, get a new water pump, new accessories on, and get this thing back together. All right, guys, next day of the video. This is probably going to be still a couple-day process because we still have to do the oil pan, but what we're doing now is we're going to be cleaning parts up. I know this isn't the most exciting part, but it's definitely needed. We're going to pressure wash this stuff out in the yard. You can see from that rear, or the front seal leaking so bad, the fan is completely coated. Front seal is completely coated, and all the pulleys and everything else are just bad. So we're just going to shoot this real quick with the pressure washer, get it all cleaned up. I'll show you guys what that looks like just in case you want to do this yourself. I know it's not the most exciting part, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna hop straight into it, and I'll show you guys finish. All right, guys, kind of went over these parts one time, but this is kind of why we're pressure washing it. You can see the oil buildup is so bad on this right here that that's why. I mean, night and day difference. Get these parts all cleaned up before they go back. All right, guys, so finishing up for today. This is going to be a multiple day process because of how much we're cleaning in the process. If you watched yesterday's video, you've seen how how messed up this case was, how much gunk and stuff we had built up here, and just, I mean, literally the truck's been neglected. And honestly, that's kind of how all parts looked, and that's not how we do things. And even if it takes a little bit longer to clean everything up, which is definitely going to, because we're going to take the boost tube off, we're going to take this side off, try to clean the frame rails and stuff while we're here too. Obviously we still have the oil pan to do. It's a lot of cleaning, but the killer dowel pin right here, this is what we did all this work for. This is a 10 millimeter bolt, and then this is just Power Driven Diesel's little plug. You can get these like literally anywhere. The reason we got the full kit is because we needed a wear sleeve for this, and then we needed a front seal, needed a new gasket for everything around, so that's why we went that route. I know this is a pretty long video, but I hope that if you're doing this project yourself, that this helps you completely along the way. And if you have any questions, let us know. But hopefully tomorrow I'll have the whole front seal on. So in that video, which will probably still be part of this video, I'll show you guys that. So all right, guys, next day, trying to finish up with this, and again, we're kind of running short, so I don't know if we'll be able to. So let me cover what we just did. Killer dowel pin plug, we put it on, put red Loctite on this, and we torqued it to 18 foot-pounds, which is per the internet, and then put a wear sleeve down there. If you're wondering how this goes on, literally put your crank pulley on, tighten, put the 4 bolts in, and give it a quarter turn all the way around until the crank pulley bottoms out, and it will be perfectly flush. Or you could buy the $30 tool, but you definitely want to have that wear sleeve, because if not, it'll probably mess up your front main when you put it on. So that's where we are right now. Probably put you guys on time lapse and keep moving. All right, guys, man, we're getting close to finishing this up, I promise. Gasket on, we put a thin layer of it's RTV, but we use the black stuff, which is meant for oil resistant, which, I mean, it's a timing case, so I'm saying a couple people use gray, a couple people use whatever, but painted the timing cover also. The front sleeve, we did put a wear sleeve on it, but we actually had to take the wear sleeve off, because if you buy a wear sleeve, it comes with a particular size gasket, and this was not it. So we put the factory one back on, pulled the wear sleeve off, which that was an interesting experience itself. Can't tell, cleaned all the bolts up, put them on a wire wheel, painted the front cover, looks really good. Fingers crossed, no more oil leaks. We will know the second that we're done doing the oil pan, but we're gonna do that next. But anyway, put you guys on time lapse. We're gonna hop into just knocking this front out. We're gonna get this whole front back together, show you guys what it looks like. We've cleaned everything up, got a new water pump, got a new oil neck. I mean, 18 foot-pounds, if you're wondering, around this whole front case, and we're just gonna keep moving right along. Up to this point, if you have any questions in the video, let us know. This is our first time doing this. There's a couple tricks and things that we could definitely say that might be able to help you along the way too. So hopping right into it, let's go. All right, guys, so we're getting it back together. Probably heard the bench grinder. We're trying to clean parts up as we're going. Oil fill tube, we bought a new one, by the way, Amazon special. Dog shit, doesn't work. The rotation just spins like off, and you can't really get it to spin right. So we actually cleaned the factory one up, used the new gaskets that came on the Amazon one to stop the leaks. Idler, put that back on. Hand tighted the crank back on. There's guides that hold this crank position sensor on that we're getting them cleaned up. Brand new Gates water pump. Cleaned up the tensioner on this side, cleaned up the AC compressor. The alternator's kind of shitty, but it works for right now. We're trying to do the best we can to get this truck in tip-top shape. So front's almost back together. I'm gonna finish the time lapse, and then that pretty much ends this video. So let me get a time lapse. Let me get the whole front end, the whole belt on. We got brand new belts, and get everything else finished clean, guys. So for this video, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna cover everything we just did real quick before the video ends, just in case you have questions about torque specs, things like that. Replace the front seal, which if you put a wear sleeve on, the gasket is specific to a wear seal. If you put a one you just get from a parts store on that doesn't have a wear sleeve, then that's fine, but it will not fit over a wear sleeve and you have to take that off. Case is, we got a metal gasket from Power Driven Diesel, put a thin line of gasket sealer all around it, torqued all these bolts down to 18 foot-pounds, put new gaskets in the oil neck. Obviously didn't torque that because there's only one bolt there and one bolt there that hold it on. Those are fine. This idler right here, did not torque those down. Those are all 10 millimeters. Block is also 10 millimeter bolts. Brand new water pump. It comes with a gasket on the inside. Did not torque that down. We used a feeler gauge for the crank position sensor. Do you remember which one it was?
I don't.
Sorry, wish I remember. This is the exact feeler gauge that we used. You can look online for the specs. Replaced brand new serpentine belt, and this would be a complete front seal done. If I was giving it a rating of how difficult it was, with the exception of learning how to put on the front seal with the tool, which I had to watch multiple videos to completely understand it. If that was out of the question, this would probably be like a 2.5. With learning that front seal, I'd probably give it a 3.5 to a 4 to doing this job. Maybe not a 4, because like a 4 would be like tearing the engine down, but that wear sleeve and that front seal actually kind of gave me a little bit of a headache. But guys, this is the end of the video. If you have any questions about when you're doing this yourself, please comment below and I will help you out the best I can. And hopefully this will fix your leaks. Until next time, guys, support those who support you. Peace.